Welcome to Beyond the Bounce, presented by ZTE. I'm your host, Byron Bogart. Joining me today, special guest, one-man basketball ambassador, Generous George Shower. Welcome to the show, George.
Thank you so much, Byron.
George, why don't we get started? Just tell the folks a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Well, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I've had a 46-year basketball career since 1970. Played at Ashland College, University of Minnesota with Dave Winfield, Flip Saunders, Tony Dungy. I've been on the road for 46 years, but I found a home here in Frisco with the Legends, and I couldn't be happier.
46 years. How much of that is a playing career? How long did you play basketball? When did you start?
Started at age 12 and then played through my senior year in college at Minnesota.
Okay.
So at age 21, that was it for being a player, and then I became an entertainer after that.
And what got you into that when you were a player, your senior year? How did you know that's where you wanted to take your life, to entertaining?
Well, I was the star of the pregame warm-up, and then I sat on the end of the bench. I have a Big Ten scoring record that may never be broken. Least points in the career, 2. We're playing against Illinois.
You got on the board, though.
We were up 40. And I had 3 guys guarding me, but somehow I got the shot off. It went in. I never made it to half court. I was mobbed by the cheerleaders, the dance team, almost trampled to death. They had to stop the game.
Oh, man.
Wipe all the lipstick off my face so I could keep playing. A true story. Wish I had the video, but I did basketball tricks, spinning the ball on my nose, which is crooked from years of practice. I'd put duct tape on it. If you notice, my nose is crooked to the left, right a little bit. I went to one of the top nose doctors in New York, and he said, "George, I can't help you. There's only one way to fix your nose." I said, "How, doctor?" He says, "You got to spin the ball the other way to straighten it out." So, but I couldn't be happier being here.
Now, for that 2-point basket, was it a layup? Was it a contested triple team fadeaway? What was it?
It was a no-look jumper from the corner. I didn't even look. I didn't have time.
Okay.
Because I had 3 All-Americans from Illinois guarding me, and I just flicked it up. It went up over higher than the backboard, came down, nothing but net.
Well, see, they had to put their top players on you, George.
Yeah, whenever I got in the game, I always passed the ball because the crowd wanted me to score. And my uniform didn't fit, so I couldn't run real fast because my shorts would blow up over my... when you're last guy on the team, you don't get a uniform that fits.
You get whatever's left over?
Right.
So what kind of helped make you you said a warm-up superstar? How'd that turn into about?
Well, I met Pistol Pete Maravich, Walt Frazier, the late, great Marcus Haynes when I was younger. And I wanted to do basketball tricks. And I learned to spin the ball on my finger. I took my ball with me everywhere I went because that's what they did. I learned to spin the ball, juggle the ball, dribble 2, 3, 4, 5 balls. If you go to Generous George Basketball on YouTube, you can see my whole history on there. 1988, I came to Dallas and did a halftime show at Reunion Arena. The Mavs beat the Lakers in Magic. Brad Davis had like 25, greatest game of his life. And I spun my giant basketball on Don Carter's finger, the owner of the Mavericks at the time. The place went crazy. And I've had a chance to perform most of all the great arenas. Some of them don't even exist anymore. And it's been great. I've done more shows, more one-man shows in 46 years than anybody, over 11,000.
Now, we've noticed it's a one-man show. Have you ever had a partner, or did you always like being solo?
No, it's always me, but I pick over 200 kids to be in the show, so it's not just me. And since my hip operation now, I'm going to be dedicating my life to doing more for charity, because the Legends have given me a chance to walk again. 46 years of pounding on cement wore my hip down to bone on bone. And when I played in college, we would jump with weighted jackets and ankle weights and plyometrics with weights on your body, and that's no good. Jumping squats with 50-pound barbells on your shoulders. When you're 18, you can do it, but later in life, it kind of destroys you.
Yeah.
So everybody I played with has had knee, back, ankle, hip problems.
Through your 40 years and wear and tear through your 40 years of one-man ambassador, where is the game of basketball taking you throughout the years?
Well, I've been in 48 states, every state except Wyoming and Alaska, 16 countries around the world. Nicest place I've ever lived is here in Frisco. This is where I hope to make my home forever. It's just fantastic. The people are great. It's the fastest growing area in the United States. I was surprised how big basketball was here in Texas. All I heard about was football, football, football. But the facilities they have here for kids, the travel teams, kids play basketball 51 months a year. I don't know if that's good or bad. You know, they get burned up.
Jury's still out on it, I think.
You know, but it's just incredible. And the amount of kids that come to our games and just have a blast is totally unique in all the sports.
Throughout all those years, do you have a top 5 shows or top 5 top shows that you had throughout your career?
Wow, that's hard to say. Probably Christmas Day, 1995, halftime show, Madison Square Garden. I had the crowd throw my giant ball to the top, and someone tried to steal it and run out the door.
He didn't make
Police
it.
caught him. Only in New York. You know, there's one. I did a show on the cobblestones in Amsterdam, and an organ grinder was there with a monkey with a cup, and he stole the ball from me, knocked it into the canal. And a fisherman with a beard about 3 feet long got in his boat and went and fished it out for me. That was something else. Wow, there's just been so many. You know, I just, 5-star basketball camp back in the day was the greatest camp in the United States for high school kids. Howard Garfinkel passed away this year, the founder. I closed that camp on the last night for 30 years. Kids went crazy because I'd give out NBA jerseys and Air Jordans and Hershey bars frozen because the food wasn't real good there, and these kids would dive on the cement for Hershey bars. So all those shows were amazing. But just being able to perform at hospitals and work with the Special Olympics, you know, those are all memorable. I can't even remember them all. So, but it's just been a great journey, and I hope to continue it.
Okay. So to do the tricks that you do, it takes training. The kids these days, they see Steph Curry, they just see him shooting 3-pointers, they see all that, and they lack the technique and proper technique. What would you like to tell the kids out there about how they can maybe develop their game, whether it's handles, whether it's getting their shot right, the importance of technique?
Well, you got to get the ball in your hand, you got to go out and you got to put in the reps. And the problem I see is kids play all organized sports now, which is great, but the problem is you never play against someone older than you. And you don't get your tail whipped, and you don't say, hey, can you show me some moves? All the great basketball players grew up in the playgrounds, and the playgrounds are empty now, and it's all 5-on-5. There's no one-on-one breakdown. You have to go out there and you have to do that yourself. And the more repetitions you put in at anything, the better you're going to get. And you just don't practice by playing the game. You practice by doing repetitions of the skills over and over and over. Kids that come to camp, they might be a little disappointed because they didn't become a great basketball player in 4 days of camp. Well, the purpose of camp is to expose you to what you have to work on. Shooting, passing, dribbling, rebounding, defense, conditioning. And the younger you start at that, the greater it is. And for a younger kid, they should play 2 or 3 different sports to find out which one they might be the best at. Plus it cross-trains them. A lot of kids get hurt because all they do is play basketball, and they get mentally tired, physically tired, especially the girls, they get injured. But sports teaches you, you have to do your homework. You got to work at it every day.
You have to work, kids. You heard it from Generous George. You have to work at it. All right, let's change gears here, George. Top 5, you've been around the game of basketball a long time. Top 5 players of all time.
My top 5?
Your top 5.
Regardless of position?
Regardless of position. You can have 5 centers if you want to, 5 point guards, 5, 6 men, whatever you want to do.
Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell. Now it gets hard.
Yeah, it gets tricky.
Last 2.
Any love for LeBron? Ohio?
Wow. I'll put Magic and LeBron.
Magic and LeBron. All right. Now, who are you debating? Who are you thinking about putting on the list that just didn't make the cut? Did I hear Kobe Bryant's? I didn't hear Kobe Bryant's name anywhere.
That should be in there. The last two.
It's tough, huh?
But Bill Russell, and who else did I say? Jordan. Those three. No, I left out Bird. I got Magic. I've got LeBron. I've got Kareem. How could I forget Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
It's a tough list, man, when people know to say five.
I have to take Magic out and put Kareem in.
It's tough. You can shuffle them all day. All right, make it a little easier.
Come on, he's an all-time leading scorer.
Let's make it a little easier. How about top five that you've watched live?
I watched all those.
You watched all of them live?
Yep, on TV. They'd say, "Welcome to the Boston Garden for the second half of the Lakers versus Celtics." They wouldn't even show the first half. Basketball wasn't very popular when I was growing up. It was baseball. I can't name 10 players in the major leagues, but when I was 12 years old, I knew every baseball player, their batting average, their batting stance. I mean, that was... I had a chance to meet Bob Gibson when I was growing up, Sandy Koufax. I met Mickey Mantle, and I was just stunned that how small these people were. I mean, I thought they would be like giants. Like, I met celebrities. I met Pele. He's like a midget. Joe Namath was like 5'10", 70 yards from his ear with a football. Marcus Haynes was just a little guy that could dribble the ball like crazy. The media just builds these people up.
Yep.
You know, I met Tom Cruise. He's like 5'8". But you see these people on TV and the movies and stuff, they're like, I met Muhammad Ali. I towered over Muhammad Ali. I'm 6'3". They said he was 6'4". He was probably like 5'11" on a good day. But, you know, in the ring, he's giant. You know, people are giant.
Yep, they are. So you mentioned baseball. So why didn't you turn that love into baseball? What about basketball turned you in the direction of the love that you have and the passion you have for the game of basketball over baseball?
Well, I could make layups better than I could hit a baseball. I love finishing at the rim and then getting to the foul line and making free throws. That, to me, was the game. You know, there was no three-point play then.
Well, we're glad basketball took your love and took your heart.
It's great.
All right, now a tough question for you. All right, you being from Ohio, you lived in Texas. Which one do you prefer? Would you rather be in the Texas heat, summer heat, or in Ohio winter?
Texas heat.
All day, 100%?
If I never see a snowflake again, it won't bother me. I spent my life growing up in the snow belt on Lake Erie, nothing against it. It's beautiful. I just don't want to drive in it. I don't want to drive in it. I had too many close calls and whiteouts and ice at night. It's very, very dangerous.
Here, black ice, you got to watch out for it.
1 inch of snow here, they close the schools.
Real quick, when it rains here.
I can't believe it. But it's fantastic, the climate.
Well, you mentioned you're recovering from hip replacement surgery. Good to have you back on your feet. How's your rehab going, and when can we expect 100% Generous George?
Well, I had 3 vein operations in July from, it's called venous reflux disease from driving too much. Truckers get it. I've driven 3 million miles in my life, so I had 3 vein operations in July. Legends took care of everything. I'll be forever grateful for that. Then August 18th, I had the hip replacement surgery from Dr. Glogow in Ortho, Texas. He said it was the biggest hip he ever put in, apparatus. Next size up was elephant. And he wasn't kidding. I had so much arthritis in my hip that it's taken a while. So it's been, today makes 53 days since I had it done. And I'm progressing. You know, I can almost walk without the walker. I don't want to trip and be back in the hospital. I spent 3 weeks at Prairie Estates Nursing Home in Frisco, and that was an eye-opener for me. I was the youngest person in there out of 178 people. And they all came in to see me and tell me their life story and bring me prune juice every day, and you came to visit me. And I mean, it was, I couldn't go anywhere. I was a prisoner. They could zip around in their wheelchairs. And, compared to my hip operation was a mosquito bite compared to what these people had gone through with injuries. One Vietnam veteran had suffered from Agent Orange. He had splotches all over him. And he just came in, big smile on his face. Everyone had a smile on their face in there. No one was bitter. So after the first 5 days there, I kind of wiped the frown off my face and said, "You better change your attitude, pal. You're not going anywhere."
Exactly.
And these people, there's 178 people there that are residents. Some will be there their whole life. And 78 nurses, and 76 of them are from Africa. They studied hard. They came here. They work in the nursing home. Nothing upsets them there because they told me stories back in their country that people don't know what poverty and filth and everything is. They're just fortunate that they can continue their life helping people here in America and make a living doing it. So they treated me like I was the only one in there. It was amazing. I'll never forget it.
Well, we're glad to have you back, getting on the road to 100%. Before we go, what would you like to tell the Legends fans out there that wish you a speedy recovery, came and visited you during this process?
Well, I really, really appreciate it. I was on Facebook. I got a lot of people telling me get well soon. To any of the people out there who have children, if you've never been to a Legends game, it's a total circus experience. There are no seats in the end zone. One end zone is bounce houses. The other end zone is Byron and me and 500 children with 50 basketballs, 30 hula hoops, and 7 mini trampolines. They have something called free play. For 2 hours while the game's going on, no one yells at them. They can walk around the arena. Then after the game, they get to go on the court and meet the entire team and get autographs and the dance team. And Satnam Singh, who was there last year, was the most popular player. There are a lot of people in the Indian community here that are bringing their kids to meet him. He's like a hero back in India. He's 7'2", but he's a big, tough guy. He's getting better and better, but he's just a very gracious, humble guy. And he's really made a big difference in the Legends.
Yes, he has. Well, George, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Taking time out of your busy rehab schedule.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Bounce, presented by ZTE. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Thank you.